Coin traders, what is going on? Thank you for joining me for the show. Going to be looking at altcoins and kind of the impact overall as far as dominance goes, the overall market cap for the whole altcoin space, as well as looking at Ethereum since we do have the big driver and obviously the biggest market cap altcoin name. So obviously been a very nice day for a lot of the altcoins, especially as Bitcoin's kind of been a little stagnant. So this is kind of what we do like to see when we talk about altcoins catching up and the dominance having a little bit more of that retracement, or at least getting stuck up right now. So you can see on the current chart right now, we're looking at the market cap for all of the altcoins. So the total crypto space minus Bitcoin right now. So currently sitting just under $650 billion. The very nice week right now is breaking through a lot of points of resistance. So if we go ahead and zoom in on this, you can see that right now, looking at a big point of closing resistance that actually smashed, that has been resistance ever since retracing below this line back in the middle of August of 2022. So this level been heavy resistance for about 8 months, and we have seen the bulls' inability for altcoins to actually break above this level. So now, week after week for several months, we're looking at finally a very nice break above this line, as we do have a lot of altcoins seeing some really nice gains over the last couple of days. So with 2 days left in the current candle, we are expecting a very nice close on top of this big resistance point, just under $610 billion for the altcoins. So up overhead next, we are going to be looking at a resistance point coming in right about 675 billion. Just over that, it's going to be the actual resistance point for peak high at 700 billion. So another big resistance zone for the altcoins that we're going to see. And that's why we do need to see a lot of momentum, continuation to actually see a lot of tests of that upside resistance zone. But what I would actually like to see right now, especially since over 8 months, we saw a big resistance period of the $610 level, we would actually not mind seeing a rejection on this zone, a retracement, confirming this level as a very nice point of longer term support before actually seeing the bulls run up and smash through this big resistance level. I could see that being a very realistic scenario and would actually be a very strong scenario to see a little bit more continued upside growth. Now, if we actually go ahead and zoom out here, we can see how the zone actually has been impacted by the previous history of trades. So looking left all the way, big point of huge resistance before finally rallying up to see our hype euphoria, which is when a lot of the hype actually maxed out for the last bull run back in May of 2021, before pulling back and actually seeing a very nice defense from the bulls of this big level as that point of support. So that's kind of why another reason why we think that it's actually realistic to think we could see a run up and a pretty big resistance point, especially since it was huge resistance back before our initial run up, and then also resulted in a huge nice level of support, which was defended until the bears finally smashed through this level back in May of 2022. And ever since, it has been big resistance after this first backtest, and then flipping and turning the $610 line into resistance, which was actual price level, or market cap rather, support. And so once we get through these two zones, it's going to be pretty spectacular to see what kind of run up the bulls can actually do, because as we've seen previously, we know that this was an extremely relevant point on the last bull cycle, not only in terms of just closing support, but even if we look at these 3 candles, we had big lower shadows signaling a lot of buying that happened in between this overall zone. So you can just see how relevant it totally was. And so being stuck below this whole zone and now having the opportunity to blow above it is actually going to open the doors for the bulls to have a very nice run up, kind of like we saw from the end of the summer back in July to about the trend high from November of 2021. Now, believe me, this is definitely not me saying we're going to enter a new bull cycle and see new all-time highs here in a few months. But one of the things that's actually kind of interesting to consider is that we are not too far, and we're essentially right around the price level that we saw for market cap of where we were when we were actually mid-bull cycle. So for example, our first rejection of this level happened back in February of 2021, which is when we were still already underway in a very nice bull cycle movement back in the 2021 bull rally. So the fact that we're currently seeing a market cap with prices now at that current level, yet meanwhile most cryptos are still down about 80 to 90% from their all-time highs, just shows how much potential room we do have once we actually break this level, because there's still a lot of opportunity, especially having an extremely nice double bottom coming right off of 428. So as we can see, we had a very nice bounce rejection off this level, and then another couple of tests confirming this is longer term support, now and then breaking a very critical and serious resistance point for the overall market cap. So now I do want to flip over into dominance right now and talk about how the current week actually is being impacted, because initially we thought that we were going to see a big break of this 48% resistance for dominance. So if we go ahead and draw a level, you can see how relevant this 48% level has been ever since we actually broke below it back in May of 2021, which is kind of when we did see, as we just saw from the market cap chart, of when we hit a lot of the highs. And so the fact that now we could actually be retracing and seeing the altcoins start to take a lot more of the precedence and spotlight, especially after over 700 days. So we're looking at going on 2 years here of being able to maintain dominance at or below 48%. So if alts can maintain a lot of follow through in the next week and two, we would actually be looking at a little bit more retracement of this dominance pulling back, and realistically seeing another attempt of dominance testing about 40%, which is where a lot of the support has been for dominance before actually rallying and see Bitcoin take the lead again to run up and once again test 48%. So we know that, especially because it's unlikely for the Bitcoin bulls to capture the lead again in the next 2 days before this weekly candle closes, that likely that's going to confirm this 48% as that point of resistance. And we would be expecting a pretty substantial altcoin rally in the coming week or two, kind of like we've seen previously once we do reject from 48% as dominance. So this is kind of the perfect setup right now, like we like to see for altcoins, because it does still signal a pretty strong market. So we don't actually have to see Bitcoin retracing and altcoins rallying. What we have right now is Bitcoin effectively stagnant, since we've only seen a less than 1% day, so about 0.19% gains on the day. Yet meanwhile, the likes of Ethereum are seeing about 4.5 to 5% gains on the day. So that's what really helps to pull the dominance down, is when we do have Bitcoin kind of flatlining, and then the rest of the altcoins actually seeing very nice rallying gains. So that ability for the altcoins to actually catch up and yet meanwhile see a Bitcoin stagnant is what really helps to know that the altcoin rally is starting to take off, as we do see the dominance start to retrace. So what we want to continue to see is Bitcoin actually continuing to consolidate and flatline for the longer term, and altcoins still showing follow through to actually catch up and have their ability to show the next sign of gains and strength. So if we flip over now into the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, you can see over the last 3 days, very nice rally and growth, especially after bouncing off a low of about 6,200 Satoshis. So a very nice rally, and especially after being able to break this extremely big point of previous level of resistance, which also was support previously. So as you can see, at about 6,700 Satoshis, almost 6,800, big point of support, and then we had resistance. So on the current day, being able to completely smash that, which was resistance and also support, is a pretty significant achievement for the bulls right now, which is another highlight for the altcoins to see a little bit more of that growth. And we're definitely not calling it an alt season yet, but we do know that the alts have been due to see a lot of growth since Bitcoin has been in the spotlight. So now, after defending a higher level compared to when we were actually seeing our summer lows back in 2022 last year, we were initially looking at this longer term breakout from a consolidation point, since we were seeing a little bit more of this wedge forming. So now to actually have the price level getting back inside this wedge could be a long or a beneficial sign for longer term growth and the next big breakout that we have seen. So just kind of like we've experienced previously, we did have an initial fake out. We did have the price pulling back. Prices did get back up above this resistance line, form this consolidation pennant, broke below it. And then now if we actually zoom out, we're actually starting to form a longer term support line for the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing. So my viewpoint's always been that the altcoins are going to be a little bit more of a, obviously extremely volatile, but there are a lot better use cases surrounding a lot of the blockchain projects that have smart contracts and all the other use cases we can think for blockchain. So that's kind of why altcoins are going to start to really take off. And we do see that every bull cycle, which is why the dominance continues to fall and fall and fall. But obviously for that, we need to break a lot of the resistances that we typically see when we talk about getting stuck up into altcoins and actually being able to break free from that relationship and correlation that we typically see with Bitcoin, primarily since Bitcoin is the bigger, stronger, and most notable name in the cryptocurrency space. But so yeah, overall, I do think that as long as we continue to see Bitcoin go sideways for a little bit, then we're going to be looking at a very nice opportunity for alts to start seeing a lot more strength and gains to the upside, testing this big extreme resistance point for the market cap for the altcoin space, and then even potentially being able to break above that and then confirm this next level as a very huge point. Because if that does happen, then that means there's going to be a lot of support to the downside, which does mean the likelihood of a continued pullback starts to dramatically increase with every big resistance point that we do see the bulls breaking through. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts if the altcoin season is about to see a huge pump for the overall altcoin space and what is actually going to happen and what projects you're looking into for altcoins. But yeah, that is going to go ahead and wrap up the show today on our analysis of the altcoin space right now and what we think is going to be happening here in the coming weeks. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe button if you haven't done so just yet. Definitely helps me out and lets me know you enjoy this type of content. Do appreciate all the continued love and support. As always, it does mean so much. Stay safe, take care, everyone, and I will catch you back in the next video.